New information in the so-called Jane Doe case that alleges police corruption within Johnson City surrounding Sean Williams. The case may not go to trial after all. News Channel 11's Jeff Keeling explains why.
Opposing sides in a bitter civil lawsuit involving multiple alleged Sean Williams rape victims and alleging police corruption by Johnson City's department are in talks toward a possible settlement.
But I think it's very interesting what the court has put out, that it's ongoing, because they wouldn't have mentioned that if it doesn't look like, in my opinion, that something's about ready to break in that avenue.
It's just 5 words in a filing where both sides asked for a few deadline extensions. Quote, due to ongoing settlement negotiations, end quote. But it's the very first such mention. It doesn't surprise Northeast State criminal justice instructor Eric Stanton.
The further we get into this, the more legal costs. So obviously both parties are probably looking at some type of settlement.
Defendants, the city and several current and former officers, have denied all allegations that police looked the other way while Williams allegedly drugged and raped dozens of women. But proof beyond a reasonable doubt isn't the standard.
Much easier to prove civil law because you have to prove a wrong or a tort.
If a settlement comes, neither taxpayers or individual officers are likely to be on the hook for the full amount.
Some of it might fall back to the taxpayers based on the city and stuff of that nature, but there is insurance involved in this situation.
Stanton said settling often comes down to mitigating risk.
We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what evidence they do or don't have. If the depositions are damning to one side or the other, then obviously the one side it's more damning to is going to want to settle and get out of this thing before it becomes more damning and they're on the hook for more money.
A settlement could also tamp down publicity in what has been a very high-profile case.
A lot of times in these civil cases, they'll say, okay, we're going to give you X amount of disclosed money, but in return, there's a gag order. You can't talk about the case. You can't talk what we agreed to.
If a settlement isn't reached, the case currently is set for trial next August.
Jeff Keeling reporting for us tonight. The city and lawyers for both sides declined to confirm negotiations were occurring. The so-called Jane Doe suit is one of 2 civil actions related to the Sean Williams case in which Johnson City is a defendant. Williams faces a February sentencing after a November guilty verdict in the first of what are expected to be several sexual assault criminal actions against him.